obviously they've given up a couple passing yards. So when you hear that as a quarterback, what kind of perks up in your mind?
Yeah, watching them on film, you can definitely tell that they're a very aggressive defense. They like to spin their safeties down, play aggressive on run-down situations. But at the same time, I feel like they do a good job, in the pass game. And I think they've got some good defensive backs. I think their nickel does a really good job, too, in the slot. And it's going to be a great challenge for us, but we're looking forward to it.
When, you guys, last week, maybe the first time kind of this year, got some different guys in the mix a little bit. You had Sean and Jake. How much does that help you guys, and how much, Hart's said that could be a boost for some guys. How much did that help you guys?
Yeah, I think it's huge. Anytime you can build depth and distribute the ball to different guys, as a defense, it makes it harder to prepare for because you have more guys you got to look at. But especially going later into the season, guys maybe getting banged up. It's good for especially for Sean, to break through and have a couple big plays in there. And Jake has been doing awesome as well, and all those tight ends. I think we need to get them involved a little bit more.
Doesn't seem like Sean really gets too excited or anything when we talk to him, but I mean, the guy had 4 career catches coming into that game, and he was able to rack up 5. So I mean, what was he kind of like after that game, I guess, or just in the moment?
Yeah, he's just the same guy. Yeah, he just really quiet. Really not a big rah-rah guy. Just kind of. I think he reminds me of Thomas a little bit. Just kind of comes out and is really consistent with everything he does. He can play in the slot. He can play outside. Really well-rounded receiver.
We've heard you get hard on yourself, when you make mistakes. You obviously threw for a lot of yards in that last game, but did have the 2 pick sixes. When you went back and looked at the tape, what did you see from that game?
Yeah, well, anytime you throw an interception, it doesn't feel good, but when you put 14 points up on the board, it's even worse. And, I went back and watched the film, and the first one was just, I think I was feeling a little bit too good, in the first quarter. And, I was thought I could make any throw at that point. And, the guy had his back turned and then turned at the last second. And then the other one was just, kind of rushed it, the throw to the hitch route to set. And unfortunately, it was tipped up in the air and brought back. So, but at the same time, we talk about, just keep slinging it, keep going. And I thought we did a pretty good job of that as an offense, overcoming the turnovers.
With you mentioned the tight end group. I think that's always this. You always hear that people want to get the tight ends involved more, but then if they get involved too much, they want to hear the other guys get involved. How do you get that group, kind of in the mix a little bit more?
I think a lot of it maybe scheme. Just looking for matchups that we like to get those guys in, and obviously when we're getting one-on-ones on the edges with our receivers, we feel good about those matchups, so we're probably going to go to those first. But I think there is some opportunities for us to get the tight ends more involved, and maybe me checking it down or finding them on some underneath routes. And we're always evaluating and seeing how we can do better with that kind of stuff.
Did you know Jake Knight was that fast?
Yeah, I knew he was fast. I'd never seen him run that fast before. No, that was he really got going after he got that ball.
But making an up and down year for you at times. I mean, how overall do you think you've played so far this year?
Well enough to win. I mean, we're 7-0 at this point, and I definitely think I could play better and I could play more consistent. But at the same time, we're winning, and I'm a guy that's always looking to evaluate my game and see what I could be doing better, and it's always a work in progress. And that's the one thing is I'm not going to give up at any time, and I'm always going to keep trying to get better. So I think, at this point we're 7-0, and I think I have a lot of room for improvement, which is nice. And but I think I'm getting better every week.
With your defense, how much have they impressed you, and how much have they helped you guys too? They've been put in a lot of tough situations, and it seems like that's when they've been at their best.
Yeah, I think they have been put in a lot of tough situations. And, that whole unit has done a great job of preparing every week. Exact same. I think everybody's kind of gotten into a routine now of, film preparation and mental preparation. And it's been awesome to see those guys, step up when, offensively we have put them in a lot of bad situations this year, especially last game. And, they've done a great job.
I think it's gonna be the 20th career start for you on Saturday or something along those lines. Just curious how year two's been different than year one for you even.
Well, we're 7-0. to start out with. I think we had lost. I lost 3 games last year, so that's just been my focus this year, is just getting a win. No matter what it takes, if I throw for 150 yards and no touchdowns, or if I throw for 404 touchdowns, that's what we talk about around here, is being mission focused, and as a leader of the offense, my job, and I feel like I can kind of feel that the offense runs around me and kind of works off me and how I'm playing, and so I take a heavy weight on my shoulders with how we do each week, and if we're winning, I'm feeling good.
We were joking around. I mean, you said that you maybe were feeling too good in that BYU game, and Zach kind of said the same thing. I guess, how do you balance the mindset? Because, obviously you don't want to feel too good, but you want to have that still aggressive mindset that you can make any throw, I'd assume.
Yeah, it's just getting back to zero before each drive. Just getting your mind back to the same place you were as you started the game, I think, every single drive, and just, not looking too far ahead, and, if something bad happens, it's the same thing. You got to get right back to zero. So, just that consistency factor, and, just going out and executing the stuff that they want me to execute.
Who taught you that mindset, getting back to zero?
It was a Peyton Manning quote, actually. Yeah, he talks about that a lot. Just getting his mind back to zero every single time. Takes 3 deep breaths before he goes out on the field.
Do you do that?
Yeah.
My obvious answer, but I think there tended to be some wind in Laramie, 25-mile-an-hour winds or something. How could that potentially affect things? And I guess that's hard to prepare for if you don't know ahead of time, or have you played many games with wind before? Or?
Yeah, I think New Mexico is fairly windy, if I remember right. But can't really control the weather, so we got to be able to adjust to that, and kind of get a feel for it, maybe in warm-ups, see how if it's swirling in the stadium, because it was kind of swirling in New Mexico. You couldn't really kind of pick up where it was coming from, but it won't affect us.
You guys had that long drive late in the BYU game to regain the lead. Is that something you kind of put in your back pocket and hang on to that mentality, as you go forward if you need it again?
Yeah, I think that was kind of a season-defining drive for us. We'd gone through a lot that game, and 5 turnovers, but at that point I said, guys, we can't hold anything back on this drive right here. We have to score. That was the kind of mentality. We have to score on this drive. And I think it was an unbelievable effort by everybody on that drive. But on the flip side, we'd like to have finished the game on the field. There's been a couple times now where we haven't, and hopefully if we get a chance to do that in the future, we can do that.
When the schedule came out, I don't know how many people thought that this would be maybe the game for the Mountain Division. They're kind of touting it as one of the biggest games in school history. How are you guys looking at it? Does this feel like a big game for you guys?
Definitely feels like a big game. Yeah, they're 3-0 in conference. We're 3-0 in conference. Our goal right now is to win the Mountain West Conference, and that's all we're focused on. And watching those guys on film, defensively, I haven't seen them on offense, but they are a very, very disciplined unit, and they don't really do a whole lot of different things as far as coverages go, but they make everything look exactly the same, which makes it really tough on a quarterback. So you got to be able to see your post-snap reads, and see how their safeties are rolling and different things like that. And it's going to be a big challenge for us, especially on the road. And there'll be a lot of people there. We know that, and it'll be a good environment. But we're looking forward to it.
Tom's the ultimate leading receiver here now. What when you just think about him, and whether it's on the field or off of it, what just impresses you the most?
Just his consistency. I think we talk about that all the time, and low ego, high output, and that's Thomas to a T. He just comes in and does his thing every single day. Never complains. If he's banged up or anything like that, and consistently makes plays. I don't really know how he does it, but he's just he's a ball player.
It's consistency, not just having good games day in and day out. It seems like he's the kind of guy who's pretty much the same emotion no matter what.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, he's same guy as he is on the Tuesday practice as he is on the Saturday game. So
With you guys this year, I know that you said an emphasis was improving the deep ball this year, and it seems like you guys have done that. I think in terms of completions of over 30 yards, you're one shy of the total you had all of last season. So I guess the work you put in, how have you seen it pay off?
Yeah, I think that was definitely a point of emphasis in the off season for sure, and we put a lot of work in